Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss the questions from structural analysis and theory of structures which were asked in MES Mains 2018. Question number 1. The partial derivative of the total internal energy in a beam with respect to the load applied at any point is equal to the deflection at that point. This is the statement of, we know that it is the statement of Castigliano's theorem, and that is why option 2 is the correct option for this question. Next question, for a fixed beam AB, the support B settles by delta downward. Then what is the direction of rotation of point A and B? Now a fixed beam is given, let it be that fixed beam. So it is that fixed beam AB. Support B settles down, means it is moving in downward direction. So if the support B settles down, the beam should take this inclined position. But the supports will not allow this. And what will happen is that there will be an anti-clockwise moment set at left end A, and again an anti-clockwise moment at right end B also. And because of these two moments, the beam will be having a bending pattern of this type. Means some part of the beam near the support A, it will be kept straight or it will be made straight because of this anti-clockwise movement. And at the right end also, some part of the beam will remain straight, and thereafter the rest of the beam will undergo bending. It simply means that as the anti-clockwise movement at left end A is getting produced, means the left end A tends to rotate in clockwise manner, and this anti-clockwise movement prevents its rotation. At end B also, the end B tends to rotate in clockwise manner, and this anti-clockwise movement is preventing its rotation. So at both the ends the rotation is clockwise, means positive positive. Option 2 is the correct option. Next question, the force in the member AB of the truss shown in the figure below is. Now the truss is shown. Now a force of 50 kilonewtons is acting at this joint. Now this entire force will be transmitted to this member. So that is why I have shown this force. So this member will be under compression. It is asked to get the force in this inclined member AB. In order to get the force in AB, I am drawing the FBD of joint B. So at joint B, there are these members which are meeting, and the members are meeting in this manner. So there are these two horizontal members and two inclined members, and a force at joint B is the force in this vertical member, so which is again going to be 50 kilonewton. Now this vertical force, that is this force in the vertical member, will be balanced by these two inclined members. So force in the inclined members will be directed in this direction. As such, now what will happen is that its vertical component and its vertical component, both of these two vertical components together will balance this force of 50 kilonewton. So force in AB, FAB, now if I use summation Fy is equal to 0, FAB sine of 45. Now this angle is going to be 45 degrees because 1.5 meter is the length of each panel, and this vertical height is also 1.5, so angle is 45 degrees. Now FAB sine of 45, that is the vertical component of FAB plus the vertical component of FAB. So instead of writing the vertical component of the second force, I am writing it as 2 times FAB sine of 45 is equal to 50, and therefore FAB is equal to 25 root 2 kilonewton. Option 2 is the correct option. Next question, for the given figure, the moment at A whose far end is fixed, MA is. Now we know that in such case, when the far end is fixed, the moment required to produce a displacement, angular displacement theta A at the near end is given as 4 EI upon L into theta A. Option 2 is the correct option. Next question, the distribution factor is. Now it is again a simple question. The distribution factor is the ratio of stiffness of a member at the joint to the total stiffness of the number of members meeting at the joint, and that is why option 3 is the correct option. Next question, force in the member BC of the truss shown in the figure below is. Now the truss is shown. There are three members and the angles as shown are 60 degrees. This load, that is 5 kilonewton, is applied at B, and the length of this member AC is 6 meter. Now we can work out the height of this truss. Height of the truss will be equal to, now this angle is 60 degrees, now this is 6, so the vertical side sine of 60 is equal to h, that is height of the truss, divided by 6, and it is going to be 6 sine 60. Now I have drawn the truss over here. Left end A is hinged, so two components of reactions. Now right end, that is C, is roller supported. Reaction at C will be acting vertically upwards. Now if I take moment about A, moment at A will be this 5 into vertical distance, that is 6 sine 60, which is the height of this truss, minus RC into 6. This member length is 6 meters. Now this angle is also 60 degrees, so this is 6 meter. So taking moments, I can get RC is equal to 5 sine 60. Then I am drawing the FBD of this end C. So FBD of this right support, that is C. If I draw FBD over here, the reaction RC is acting vertically upwards, and I am showing the force in member BC like this. And if I use summation Fy is equal to 0 over here, FBC sine of 60, that is the vertical component of FBC, and this vertical reaction, which is 5 sine 60, both are going to be equal. Solving this, we can get FBC is equal to 5 kilonewton. So force in BC is acting like this. At this end C, it is directed towards C. So at end B, it will be directed in this direction, and which is a compressive type of force, and that is why the correct option is option number 4. Next question, a fixed beam AB of span L is subjected to a clockwise moment M at a distance small a from end A. Fixed end moment at end A will be. Now I have drawn the fixed beam. Left end is A, right end is B, and moment M is applied at a distance small a from the left end A. Let the remaining distance is B as shown. Total span of the beam, let it be capital L. Now it is a standard case, and a formula is a standard formula. MA, that is moment at the left end A, in this case is given as MB upon L square L into L minus 3A. Now this B can be written as total span L minus A. So the formula gets adjusted to M upon L square L minus A into L minus 3A. Option 1 is the correct option. Next question, a beam of span L is fixed at one end and simply supported at other end. It carries UDL of W per unit run over the whole span. The reaction R at the simply supported end is, and the 4 options are given. Now as per given description, I have drawn the beam over here. Left end is fixed, the right end is simply supported, and UDL is running, which is W per meter. Now temporarily I am fixing the right end. So now I am converting the given beam into a fixed beam. So left end A is fixed, right end B is fixed. If UDL is running over the entire span, the moments produced at both the ends are WL square by 12, WL square by 12 each, as shown. Now, but in the given figure, the right end is not fixed. So the moment at the right end is not possible, and that is why I am releasing the moment at the right end. To release the moment at the right end means to make it 0, and in order to make it 0, I am adding negative WL square by 12 over here. So if I add minus WL square by 12 at the right end, half the moment will get carried over to the left end, and it will be minus WL square by 24. Addition of these two makes minus WL square by 8, and that is why at this fixed end, for this given condition, that is the right end is simply supported, the moment at the left end A is going to be WL square by 8 with negative sign. Negative sign means it is anti-clockwise movement. So I am drawing the figure over here. It is the FBD of this figure. Fixed end moment minus WL square by 8. Negative sign means it is anti-clockwise direction. So when I show an anti-clockwise moment, I should not show this sign over here. So WL square by 8 with or in anti-clockwise direction is the moment. Now I can get the reaction at B by using some moment of or summation of moment about A is equal to 0. So if I solve it further, I get RB is equal to 3WL by 8, and that is why the correct option is option number 1. Next question, degree of static indeterminacy of a rigid jointed plane frame having 15 members. So they are saying that the number of members is equal to 15. So M is equal to 15. 3 reaction components. So R is equal to 3 and 14 joints. So J is equal to 14. So they have given an information regarding the number of members, the number of reaction components and number of joints. Now degree of static indeterminacy in case of rigid jointed plane frame, that is DS, is given as 3M plus R minus 3J. So if I substitute all these values, the answer will be, now it will be 3 into 15 plus 3 minus 3 into 14, and the answer works out to be 6, and that is why the correct option is option 3. Next question, a rigid cantilever frame ABC is loaded and supported as shown in the figure below. The horizontal displacement of point C is. Now here in this question they have said that it is a rigid cantilever frame. So cantilever means this end is fixed and this member, that is AB, is vertical and B is a rigid joint. So that, see what happens, as the force is applied in this direction, then the joint B is going to deflect in this direction, and we can use the standard formula in case of a cantilever beam with a point load at the free end, which is given as PL cube divided by 3EI. So the deflection at this end towards or in the direction of force will be PL cube upon 3EI if L is the length, but here instead of L they are saying that it is H. So PH cube upon 3EI will be the deflection in the horizontal direction for this vertical cantilever. BC is a straight member and B is a rigid joint. So whatever is the horizontal displacement of this joint B will be equal to the horizontal displacement of joint C, and that is why the correct option is PH cube upon 3I. Option 3 is the correct option. Next question, the distribution factor for the members OA, OB and OCR. Now here the joint O is there and it is asked to get the distribution factors for OA, OB and OC. Now I have prepared a table over here. Now it is the joint O, and at joint O there are 3 members which are meeting, OA, OB and OC. So members are OA, OB, OC. Stiffness of each member. Now stiffness of OA is equal to, now OA, its stiffness will be 4EI upon L as the far end is fixed. So 4 times E, I is 2EI, so 2I divided by L, and L is equal to 4, so it is 4EI upon L, which is 2EI. Similarly for OB, it is again 4EI upon L because the far end is fixed. So 4E, I is 1.5I divided by the length is 4, so it is 1.5 EI. And for the member OC, it is 3EI upon L because the far end is hinged. 3EI divided by L, L is 6 meter. Now I is I over here, so it is the total is 0.5 EI. Total stiffness is 4 EI. So if I add all these 3 together, it will be 4 EI. Now distribution factor for OA is stiffness of OA divided by total stiffness. So 2 EI divided by 4 EI is 0.5. Now the distribution factor for OB is stiffness for OB divided by total stiffness. 1.5 EI divided by 4 EI is 0.375. In the similar manner, distribution factor for OC will be 0.125, and the correct option is option number 4. Next question, the stiffness coefficients Kij indicate. Now Kij in stiffness method indicate that Kij means force at I due to a unit displacement at J. So force at I due to unit displacement at J, or you can say action at I due to unit displacement at J is Kij. So option 1 is the correct option. Next question, a beam with EI constant of span L is subjected to clockwise moments M at both the ends A and B. The rotation of end A works out to be. Now, if we recollect the chapter slope deflection method, then we know this basic equation. Final moment at end A for the span AB can be obtained as m bar AB, which is the fixed end moment for span AB at A, plus 4EI upon L into theta A. Theta A is the rotation or angular displacement which is at A, plus 2EI upon L into theta B, plus or minus 6EI delta upon L square, where delta is the vertical displacement of any of the supports. Now, in this case, m bar AB is 0 because no external loading is there, whereas 6EI delta upon L square is also 0 as no sinking of this support is given. So 4EI upon L into theta A plus 2EI upon L into theta B. Final moment at A is m as shown is equal to 4EI upon L. Rotation at A is theta plus rotation at B is also theta, and therefore theta can be written as ml divided by 6EI. So option 4 is the correct option. Next question, carryover factor CBA for the beam shown in the figure below is. Now here the beam is shown which is AB, and A is fixed, internal hinge is there. I am naming this internal hinge as C, and the right end support is the hinge support. Now it is the hinge support, and what I am doing is that I am splitting the given beam into two parts. I am just separating out the two parts from the internal hinge. So CB is the right part, CA is the left part. Now if I consider the right part CB, then the moment is applied at this end B. There is only this action acting on the part CB. Now in order to balance this anti-clockwise movement, the reactions at these two levels, that is at the support B and the internal hinge, must take this position. Means the reaction at B should be vertically downwards and the force provided by internal hinge should be upwards, so that these two together will produce a clockwise movement, and this clockwise movement can balance the anti-clockwise movement. So this is the free body diagram of CB. Now if I use summation of moment about B is equal to 0, then I can get RC into B minus M is equal to 0, and RC can be obtained as M divided by B. So RC is the MB. Now then I am going for this FBD of this left part AC. So RC, it is acting upwards for the right part CB. It is obvious that RC will be acting downwards for the left part AC. So I have shown RC, I have shown the fixed end moment at A, and reaction at A, it is acting in upward direction at the support A. Now for part AC, if I use summation of moment about A is equal to 0, means if I take moment about A and equate it to 0, RC into A minus MA is equal to 0, and then I am substituting the value of RC, which is M upon B. So MA works out to be M into A divided by B, and that is why the carryover factor for this given beam is A by B. Option 1 is the correct option. Next question, for a 3-hinged parabolic arch, what will be the ratio L by R to satisfy H is equal to W? Now here the 3-hinge parabolic arch is shown, and a central point load, that is W, which is acting exactly on this topmost position, and where the third hinge is also provided. Because the load is symmetric, the reactions at both the ends are vertical reactions at both the ends are going to be same, W by 2, W by 2. Now what I am doing is that I am considering the half part of the arch. So this is the half part of the arch from A to this third hinge which is provided at the crown. Now the forces acting on this half part are W, which is acting downwards, the horizontal thrust over here, and the vertical reaction, which is W by 2. Now the length, this horizontal distance is L by 2, whereas this vertical height is R. If I take moments about C, then moments about C will give us H into R, that is H into R, W by 2 into L by 2 must be equal to 0. So H into R is equal to WL by 4, and L by R is nothing but 4H divided by W. If H and W are to be equal, means when they are equal, this ratio will be 1 and L by R will work out to be 4. So that is why the correct option is option 4. Now next question, match the following. Now here In this column they have given the different types of arches, and here the description about the statical indeterminacy is given. We know that 3 hinge arch is statically determinate, so A matches with 3. 2 hinged arch is statically indeterminate to first degree, whereas hingeless arch is statically indeterminate to third degree, and that is why A matches with 3. A matches with 3, so the option 2 is the correct option, because A matches with 3, B is matching with 2, and C, that is hingeless arch, is statically indeterminate to third degree. Option 2 is the correct option. Next question. Muller-Breslau principle in structural analysis is used for. Now the statement of Muller-Breslau principle is like this. If an internal stress component or a reaction component is considered to act through some small distance and thereby to deflect or displace a structure, the curve of the deflected or displaced structure will be, to some scale, the influence line for the stress or reaction component. So it is obvious that this principle is used to draw ILD for any force function. Next question. The given figure shows ILD for SF and bending moment at section 1. So the beam has been shown. AC is equal to 3 meter, BC is equal to 9 meter. So it is 3 meter, it is 9 meter. And this is the ILD for shear force. Now it is asked to get the value of SF and BM at 1 due to concentrated load of 20 kilonewton at midspan. So load is at midspan, means exactly at the center. Total span is 12 meter, so load will be at 6 meter from left end A. Now as the load is at 6 meter from left end A, means at the midspan, we should calculate the ordinates in ILD for SF and ILD for bending moment at this position. Now ILD, if we consider it for SF, this vertical ordinate, as it is exactly, or as the section is exactly at the center, is going to be 0.5. Whereas if this ordinate is M, I can use the similar triangle property. 2.25 divided by 9, so it is 2.25 divided by 9 is equal to M divided by 6, and therefore M is equal to 6 into 2.25 divided by 9, and this will be equal to 3 into 2 is 6, 3 into 3 is 9, so it is 4.5 divided by 3. This is M, or we can still simplify it further. Now once we get the ordinate at in this diagram ILD and the ordinate in this ILD, we can use the basic thing. Load into this ordinate will give the shear force at this section. Load is 20, 20 into 0.5 is 10, so 10 will be the shear force. So 10 will be the shear force. I think option 4 is the correct, because it is 10 kilonewton, and bending moment will be 20 into this ordinate, which is M. So 4.5 divided by 3 into 20, it works out to be 30 kilonewton meter, and that is why option 4 is the correct option. Next question. All members of the frame shown below have the same flexural rigidity EI and length L. If a moment M is applied at joint B, the rotation of the joints is. Now here there are 3 members which are meeting at joint B, and joint B is a rigid joint. Now the speciality of rigid joint is that the angle between the members meeting at the joint is maintained even after the joint undergoes rotation. So it means that if this joint gets rotated, the rotation of BA is equal to rotation of BC is equal to rotation of BD. So if theta B is the rotation at this position, each and every member will undergo or will suffer the same rotation. And in order to rotate the member BA through an angle theta B, if theta B is the resultant rotation at this joint, then the moment required to rotate the member BA through an angle theta B is equal to 4 EI upon L into theta B, because the far end is fixed. Now for BC, it will be 3 upon L into theta B, because far end is simply supported or hinge, you can say. Now the member BD, the far end is fixed, and that is why the moment required to rotate the member BD through an angle theta B is 4 upon L into theta B. The total moment applied is M, and these are the moments required to rotate the members which are meeting at the joint B. So if I add all these moments, the addition or sum of all these moments must be equal to the applied moment. So M is equal to addition of these works out to be 11 EI upon L into theta B. And that is why theta B is equal to M into L divided by 11 EI. Next question. A stiffness matrix is to be generated for beam AB as horizontal flexural member. As per the method adopted for calculation of stiffness matrix, if end A is given translational displacement in vertically upward direction, the end forces generated at end B are. Now, in order to explain it, I have considered this beam. Now, this is the end B, this is the end A. Now, end A has given a small vertical displacement, that is delta, means translational displacement, which is delta, without any rotation at end A. So this translational displacement, if it is given, then both the ends are subjected to an end moment or fixed end moment, which is 6 EI delta upon L square, 6 EI delta upon L square. If delta is 1, then the moments will be 6 EI upon L square. Now I have considered the same beam. So due to this displacement delta, the moments are produced. Now, as these moments are produced over there, both are anti-clockwise. So, in order to balance these moments, the reactions will also get developed at both of these supports, A and B. And these reactions should produce a clockwise moment, and that is why reaction at B, it will be acting downwards, reaction at A, it will be acting upwards, so that these two can produce a clockwise moment. Now, taking moments about A, that is summation MA is equal to 0, we can get the value of RB as RB into L will be the distance. So RB into L is the moment created by the reaction RB, minus this anti-clockwise moment minus this moment is equal to 0. So RB is equal to 12 EI delta upon L cube. So at B there are two forces which are getting developed. One is the reaction and another is the moment. So reaction is 12 EI, delta is 1, so 12 EI upon L cube, and 6 EI delta upon L square. Option 2 is the correct option. Next question. If the stiffness matrix of beam element is given as 2 EI upon L, 2 minus 1 minus 1 2, then the flexibility matrix is. Now we know the relation between stiffness matrix and flexibility matrix. Flexibility matrix is inverse of stiffness matrix or stiffness matrix inverse. If any matrix, say A is given as A, B, C, D, then its inverse can be obtained as 1 upon determinant A into that matrix with these diagonal elements interchanged, and these elements are written as minus C minus B. So here flexibility matrix is equal to 1 upon the determinant of A. Now 1 upon this also, this term that is 2 EI upon L will also get reversed, L upon 2 EI, and the determinant of this is 2 into 2 minus plus 1. So 2 into 2 is 4, minus 1 is 1, so minus 1, and this is 4 minus 1 is 3 into 2 is 6. So L upon 6 EI, 2, 2 means these elements are to be interchanged. So it will be 2, 2, and these elements should be changed, or their signs should be changed. So it will be plus 1, plus 1. So it will be L upon 6 EI, that is L upon 6 EI, 2, 1, 1, 2. Option 1 is the correct option.